Hello. So my name is Filipa.
Hello, Filipa.
So we have some questions to ask you. So the first one is, how old did you start to train? How old were you?
Well, thank you first of all for interviewing me. I was 14 years old in 1976. I started with like a taekwondo, Vietnamese karate, kung fu mix, Hosin Sudo. And my teacher then also was teaching Wing Chun and Eskrima, so I started all the same time.
What was your motivation to start doing martial arts?
Well, when first, because I raised up in Germany, so when I was very young, I had a lot of fights. Somehow because I was dark and all the blonde girls liked me and the blonde German were jealous.
Yeah.
So a lot of fights and this, and of course the racism, everything mixed. And I started to defend myself and then become passionate. From 14 to 16 I understand more and I started to read books. When I was 16 and I heard of Bruce Lee, which then was already dead 3 years, passed away, and gave me more motivation. So when I was 16, I had the dream of what I'm doing today, to teach all over the world and become professional martial arts teacher. So it started my Wing Chun career, my martial arts career, and the Eskrima career.
I already understand that you did not start at only Wing Chun. How do all the various styles of martial arts combine or complement themselves? Is there any way they somehow mix or?
Well, when I was young, so first I know was different classes. My ex-teacher, his name was Dieter Porzel. However, he teaches several separate days karate or Hosin Sudo, and then he was teaching separate hours Wing Chun and Eskrima. So what I understood very early that it's not the best of my interest to mix it, to understand the style perfectly. So I always keep it separate. And then from early on, my system and thinking was and coordination was so that I never mix up. And many people sometimes have coordination problem if you teach Eskrima and you teach Wing Chun, they have a problem with the footworks. So I don't have that.
Okay. So, what was the reason you decided to create your own organization?
Well, I didn't have any idea this will happen one day, but my other teacher in 1980, I joined an organization called the European Wing Chun Organization under Wing Chun, World Wing Chun Athletic Association, or 19 Wing Chun Association, and Kanchbeck was the guy who ran Europe. 19 was a chief instructor, so I started 1980 with them. I represent them worldwide for 22 years. I was their #1 student, but then Kanchbeck decided to backstab me, lie and tricked everybody, and he destroyed the entire image of Wing Chun in Europe and marketing worldwide. So and they're not very much like people, so they backstabbed me, basically Bluetooth me. And so I stopped and I didn't want to teach again. So I was very frustrated. A student can leave you, a student can backstab, you have thousands of students. But then when your teachers do this, so...
Yeah, it's harder.
And also, but for 6 months or something I didn't do, and then my son created the Ebmas logo, so that's what you want to call whatever Wing Chun organization, just call your name. So we call it Emin Boztepe Martial Arts System. That's the organization. But in the organization, I represent scientific Wing Chun and Eskrima scientific concepts by Ebmas which I still work with him, and he's my teacher also for 36 years. And so that's the way I started in 2001.
Okay. So, how did it get to Portugal?
Well, since Ebmas is in 50 countries, and I had a lot of schools in Spain, and this crazy guy kept emailing me, Facebooking me, called Duarte, from Portugal. Very cocky. And then he came to Madrid 2 times or 3 times. We talked a little bit. He was a nice guy and he liked. But he was frustrated because the old organization in Spain also was represented in Portugal, and they didn't teach seriously. So it was all about the commercial, not really teaching. Like I mean, you all need money to exist, but I teach passionate. As you can see, I come here for 10 people, 8 people a day.
Yeah.
So it's less than my flight ticket, but it's, sometimes I do this because I believe. And when Duarte makes his mind up, he wants to represent Ebmas. So I help him now. It's all passion, so it's love. And I know that he will stay with me for many, many years. And it's hard. Every beginning is hard, but we start now. So when he invited me here to Evora, this is my 3rd visit. And I hope next year I can come 2 times a year, and then following me 3 times. More people we have, better. So that's a start.
Okay. One thing that I wanted to ask since yesterday, and they are curious as well, is how important is the spiritual dimension in Wing Chun?
I mean, everything is important. To keep balance, you need the spiritual part too, but in the first thing, people come here for self-defense. So they have so much problems with body coordination. So the physical part is number 1. But once they reach and they feel better, so in a way it transcends to the spiritual because they feel happy because they master something. And
Yes.
so they feel happy about that. And then later when they do applications and they are more coordinated, so this gives them happiness too. But ultimately, what Wing Chun represents is based on Taoism, is equal balance, right? But has also the Buddhism in it because in the beginning you have to train hard. The Buddhism deals with suffering. But physically in Wing Chun is the repeating, your shoulders burning, your legs are burning from repeating, your hearts from cardio and everything. This is all part of Buddhism, like you're suffering now to become balanced and strong. That's when you balance, then you can do everything, right? So the Taoism. So and then how we use this physically in Wing Chun. But then when you understand that and you become higher level, deeper in Wing Chun, you know how to transcend into your normal life for balance. When you have economics, you have social life, you have spiritual life, you have love life, you have a professional life, and you have a psychological life, like in your own, what you think. This is what you try to make everything balanced. If everything is balanced, you're absolutely happy. That's when your life is perfect. But if your wife runs away, you start to drink alcohol, you lose your job, your health, you get more and more in trouble. So this is for people what generally happens now. When people with their love life crash, they're sad, they don't work in their job, they get kicked out, they start to drink, so they lose their health, they lose their job, money is not there, and they will never find a new wife. So what I'm trying to say with Wing Chun, you learn to balance. If any of these points are is disturbed, you maintain the other strong and fix this. Get a new wife.
Are there many women practicing Wing Chun?
Well, in martial arts, if there in the dance music involved, there's more women, naturally. So like capoeira, there's probably more women than men than in other martial arts. But Wing Chun is created by women scientifically, so based on mathematics really. We have, but it's like about worldwide maybe 20-30%. So what most in martial arts is always more men because it's a masculine thing and men's ego is bigger and so women sometimes don't feel it, but the problem is also worldwide in every country, not like in third world countries, but here too the violence against women, and mostly in their family environment, people they know. It's aggressive. It's everywhere, percentage almost the same. It's a lot, and mostly happens by friends, family members, ex-husbands, or brother, sister, or whatever, right? So they're the ones who really do this sometimes. But then if a stranger does it, it's always life-threatening because a stranger wants more. So, but the violence against women happens mostly in a very close circle. Most of the time, not always, but percentually more. So if this is Portugal or Italy or Turkey or you go to Sudan, of course over there is a different Sudan or something, or some African countries women are one fourth, or Saudi Arabia.
The
king
concept
is rich
of woman is different than it is here.
The queen and the princess is open, but the normal people women cannot even drive cars, no permission. So if you look at that, so they're treated not with respect. So, but in the Western world, you look at from the United States, probably have a percentage from 300 million people to 10 million people in Portugal is probably the same percentage divided. In America there's more people, but here's less. But the percentage of the population, I think it's the same, and that's quite high anyway.
Yes,
that's the problem. It's mostly because men are not secure, and then they become violent, and especially in a family-oriented thing, if the woman speaks her right and the man cannot answer because he's wrong, his ego doesn't permit, so he becomes aggressive.
Yes, of course. One thing they also asked was, what's the main difference or the main differences between your Wing Chun and the Wing Chun practiced by other Sifu masters or other organizations other than Ebmas?
One thing is, as I said, I teach really scientific Wing Chun. I explain my students everything in mathematical dimensions, all how to calculate things, how to understand tactics and strategy. But also I'm very detailed. When I teach them a form, I show them all the practical application first. Later, when they understand the coordination and their brain involved to understand deeper, so they get to resolve it all. And the health issue, all this, and the physical, like the human anatomy, you have to understand for each exercise, there's so many muscles involved for one area, just for the punch. So they understand that part too. So it's really art, not just self-defense. And the other martial art, Wing Chun people, mostly they don't agree. They just teach them programs, and if student becomes good, then they create secrets to charge money. So they're really interested more in ego, position, and commercial. Because I don't have it, I have reached everything what I want. Everybody knows me in the world of martial arts, or a lot of people at least. And I don't need to lie to my students, and I did not start this business as a teacher and start to lie to my students. And as I said, I do it passion, it's with love, so when I do love, why should I lie to my students?
Yes, of course. Okay, I think that is all for today at least.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Chuck. All right. Now don't film me when I eat.